Hi, I'm Tom with ProLine Range Hoods. Today we're going to be installing the PLFW544, and this video is also good for the PLFW543 range. We've got a variety of tools we're going to be using here today. We've got a power drill, we've also got a variety of screwdrivers, we need our drill bit, a tape measure, a handful of contractor's pencils, marking pencils. We've also got our duct tape here, which is aluminum-backed ducting tape, and then we've also got our level here, and then a variety of wall anchors. Now you need to make sure you get the right wall anchors for whatever kind of wall you're going to be anchoring into, if that's going to be lath plaster or drywall or cinder block or concrete. If you don't know which one the right ones are to use, go contact your local Home Depot or Lowe's construction store. They'll be able to let you know which one's the right ones to use. We've also got our instruction manual here and our small bag of hardware, which comes with the range hood. Now we've already tested our range hood, so we know that it works. So what we're going to do is go ahead and check the contents of the box. So the contents of our box are the chimney. We want to make sure the chimney is in here. Make sure you've got some gloves on because some of these edges can be a little bit sharp on you. Our chimney here, and we have our ceiling bracket. What this does is goes up against the ceiling like this. The chimney is then screwed up against the insides of this and it holds it right in place. Then we have, of course, our range hood. And then we've also got our flexible duct. We're back in our studio here, and we've got a few markings on the wall. Most of these markings you're not actually going to need. They're here for purpose of demonstration. One of them is to illustrate where our cooktop is at, and the other is to demonstrate where our ceiling is approximately going to be. You, however, will need to find measurements on your own for the center of the back wall where you're going to mount your range hood to. And so we've determined already the center point for our two walls from side to side is approximately here. We've also determined where the stud is going to be at, so we can use that as an anchor. You're going to want to go ahead and install your range hood in between 28 and 36 inches from the top of your cooktop. For purpose of our demonstration, we've chosen 28 inches. Again, that's referencing the bottom of the metal chassis of your range hood. Now, in addition to these markings over here, we want to go ahead and find our center point markings on the back of the range hood itself. We're going to go ahead and determine where those are by using these mounting holes and finding the center point, which we can find to be approximately right here. So I've marked that on the back of the range hood itself. Now, how am I going to want to put this back up on the wall? I'm going to go ahead and use part of the packaging slip from inside of our box as a template. And so what I want to do is run this template right up against the back of the metal chassis at the bottom of the range hood itself, which again is in reference to this line here that we're using as our point of reference. So once I get this lined up here, then I'm going to go ahead and trace a line all the way around this and figure out all my mounting points and punch little holes just so I'm ready to go ahead and put that up. Then I'll go ahead and run the template up there, and then we can have a good reference for where we want to put our range hood. So again, I actually want to find the center point one more time on the back of the range, then I'm going to trace that all the way to the top of the cardboard just so I have a good point of reference. Okay, so we've gotten our markings already finished off here with our template. So now we're going to want to go ahead and transfer that over to the wall so we can determine where our drywall anchors are going to go from off of the actual range hood itself. So I'm going to put this up here, line up my line here from the top of the range itself with this line that we've drawn here, and find my center point of the back of the range and make sure I line up with the center point of the wall. And we can see that those both line up right there. And so now I know that this is actually an anchor point here, and this is an anchor point here. And the nice thing with cardboard is I can just punch right through with my screwdriver and go ahead and get a mark on the wall, and then I'll know right where to start at as soon as I take my template down. And so I've got a mark here and a mark here. Now that we've determined where these points are, we're going to go ahead and just drill a hole, and we're going to have it all set up. We're going to go ahead and install our drywall anchors in here. We can see that we've actually missed our stud, and so we're going to use drywall anchors first, get this anchored up against the wall, and then after we're done, we're going to come back and we're going to just tap a little hole right here on the actual back of the range hood itself, and we're going to use that to anchor into the stud once we've determined where the stud sits back here. Just provides a little extra anchoring. We know that way it won't come off the wall. So I've gone ahead and put in my drywall anchors all the way in, and I've also put in the actual screws themselves just a little ways in. But I've got them out far enough so that I can find them easily with my range once I've got it up here, and then just go ahead and seat them down. Now before we put our range hood back up on the wall, we just want to do one last thing. We want to make sure we get the chimney bracket actually set up against the ceiling where it needs to go. So I've gone through, measured the center point of this right across the center, made a scribe point right here, and I'm going to line that up with the center point of my wall. And as you can see, I've already gone through and put in these two actual anchor points right here with drywall anchors. They're real lightweight drywall anchors, so they aren't necessary to be for 50 or 60 pounds. We just need something simple that'll hold it against the wall. So you can see that lines up pretty close to where I need it right there. So we're going to go ahead and screw that in and get that into place. So you can see right here on the sides, the chimney is actually going to attach right here. There's two screw holes right here and two screw holes here. That's where the actual chimney is going to cowl around the outside of this and bracket on and hang on. We'll have a nice, smooth, flush line against our wall right over here on both sides. It'll look really nice when we're done. Now in a normal typical installation in a kitchen, you're going to already have your ductwork punched through the ceiling here and hanging down ready for you to install the range hood up and into so that it receives it. But obviously in this particular instance, we don't have a ceiling here. This is all a virtual demonstration. So we're going to go ahead and just hang the range hood here first, and then we'll go ahead and put our chimney work around it and bracket it in as it needs to be tightened down. Remember, these ranges can weigh up to 50 pounds, so you may want to have help when you're doing this. And there you go. We've got it already hanging up, and we're going to go ahead and just tighten that into the wall, and it's good to go. And I've got my first screw over here. So I've gone ahead and tightened these in right here. We're going to go ahead and locate our actual stud on the back, which we know is right back here. And once we've got it located, we're going to go ahead and just use a simple metal tap on the back of the actual cowling of the range hood itself and tap that right on through. You need to make sure that you do anchor it to a stud on at least one of those anchoring holes, or create an anchor for it on the stud because of the weight of the range. It's not enough just to have it hanging in by drywall screws. You do have to find a stud, which we've already done back in here. We went through and we put in a metal grabber screw into the actual stud itself to hang on and hold the majority of the weight of the range hood itself. So now that we've actually got this hung, we want to go ahead and put up our flexible duct here with using some aluminum duct tape itself so we can actually keep that connected once it gets in place. So we're going to go ahead and seat this back here on the back of the range. And you're at this point going to draw through any kind of ductwork you have from the ceiling, pull it down, you're going to go ahead and seat it in on both ends of the actual flexible ductwork, and then you're going to tape it down and get it in place. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick here. So once we get this duct tape in place, we're going to go ahead and run our electrical work back up through the ceiling as well, or in this case we've got an actual outlet over here which we're going to just go ahead and plug it into. And we're good to go right there. Then we go ahead and get this taped up here. Any other miscellaneous electrical work, then we go ahead and we'll seat our chimney here in a moment. So we're almost ready to go ahead and finish everything off here. We've got our range hood up, we've got our duct work finished, we've got our electrical work all tied away. The next thing we want to actually do is put our chimney up. This is pretty much the end of it right here. So we're going to put the chimney up. Now before we do that, there was actually a protective laminate coating that was on here. There's still some on the back side of this, but the laminate coating is on here, and you actually want to make sure you peel all of that off on both sections of the sleeve itself. And that will just seat nice and flush right on the back top side of the range itself. So I finished up the last screw right here, and what that's doing is actually mounting and holding the chimney itself for the range hood up against the ceiling and the back of the wall against the chimney mounting bracket that we put in. So I've got two screws here and another two screws over on this side. So we finished up polishing up our chimney, and everything's looking pretty good here. And we're going to want to go ahead and check our grease filter real quick, which is just hanging out down here. I'm going to go ahead and pop this out. This has got a little bit of a blue tape that runs around it. We want to go ahead and peel that off now. So our grease filter is ready to go. We've got all our blue tape off. Everything's nice and shiny. I'll go ahead and toss that back up inside here. First the clip, and you're set to go. Now we want to go ahead and cycle through the power settings and the functions on you. This is all simple touch. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on, so you just simply turn it on. You want to cycle through and check your fan settings. 3, 2, 1. Check our light. Make sure we've got our 2 halogen lights under here are working. And they're good. Just go ahead and shut her back off, and that's how it works. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and drop us a line, give us a call, or leave a comment. Thanks again.